So something shocking happened to me recently. I've been wearing these glasses that you see here for the last 10 years, and I've worn them on many of the most important days of my life. I wore them at my wedding, wore them at the hospital when my kids were born. I've actually worn them for many hours just doing work as I've run my business. And it wasn't until a couple months ago that I actually took a closer look at the brand name that was on the glasses. And to my shock, it was in capital letters, Trump. Now, the reason this shocked me is that I'm a refugee from Ethiopia. There's a picture of me before I came to the United States. Came here as an immigrant, learned English, been able to find tremendous opportunity through the help of educators and so many caring Americans. Eventually able to get a scholarship to Harvard University, and after I graduated from Harvard, I've run my own business in education where I've worked with so many school districts. A lot of times I've focused on advocating for immigrant youth. In fact, I've written a book called The Beatles and Angels that was on the Oprah Winfrey show, and it shares my life story as an immigrant. And this whole time, I've been wearing Donald Trump glasses. That's shocking to me. Now, after I got over the shock, I realized this is perfect. The reason it's perfect is I believe that we're all connected, all of us. I'm connected to Donald Trump, so are you. You're connected to me, okay? In ways that may not be obvious to you. We're all connected. You may not know, for example, just how connected you are to immigrants. Did you know that in the United States today, 14% of all people in this country are immigrants? And if you add in our kids, so my 3 kids, for example, that's another 11%. That's 25%. You know what that adds up to? It's 80 million people in this country are immigrants or the kids of immigrants. That means we're connected in ways you don't even see. Immigrants live in all 50 states. We live in big cities. We live in small towns. We're in schools everywhere. We work everywhere. Now, we all know we're having a national conversation right now about the role of immigrants in this country, how immigrants contribute. And you might say, Maui, I'm not a big newspaper writer. I'm not on TV. That conversation doesn't really impact me. And I'll say to you, actually, all of us in our hearts, we're somewhere on a scale of 1 to 10 of how we feel about immigrants, whether you know it or not. And over here, a 1 is, you might say, why are these people here? They smell, they're scary, they're dangerous. America is better without them. Maybe some of you are at a 5, where you're kind of indifferent. You say, you know what? I don't really have that strong opinion on it. Some of you might be at a 10, where you say, these people make America better. They make America better. Like I was talking to one of you earlier, and you said to me, I love tutoring the immigrant kids at this school near me, and I learned so much from them. Well, today, I'm going to ask you to put on my glasses, okay? Look through my eyes, through my lenses, and see how immigrants contribute, in my opinion. And I'm going to argue to you today that immigrants are a 10. We contribute a 10 in this country, and I'm going to share with you why I believe that. Now, a lot of times when you talk to people and you say, hey, why are immigrants good for America? They'll say to you, well, immigrants, they work the worst jobs in this country for the least amount of money. We need them to do all those horrible jobs. You know what? I think a lot of that is true. In my travels around the country, I've spoken in more than 40 states. In my travels, I've seen that immigrants work on horse farms in Kentucky. Immigrants work on produce farms from Georgia to California. Immigrants work in meatpacking factories in the Dakotas. Yeah, we do some of the hardest work in this country. That's true. But that's not the most important reason that we're a 10. Some of you might say, hey, Maui, I know some of our businesses, they have labor shortages, and they need to access the global labor supply. You might say, hey, we need to access people from all over the world. I'd say, yeah, that's probably true. There's some companies that need to hire someone from a different country from time to time, but that can't be a solution, like national solution for us to just be bringing people in to do all our jobs for us, right? Like we can use it a little bit. That's a micro solution. So I'd say, you know what, that can be a reason, but it's not the top reason that immigrants are a 10. Some of you might say, hey, Maui, you know what? Immigrants are core to America. We're a nation of immigrants. Okay? We've been welcoming people from Europe, from Latin America, from Asia, people like you from Africa, Maui. That's just who we are. And I'd say to you, You know that's true? This is a country that's offered tremendous opportunity for people like myself. But in the times we live in, historical precedent is not enough to make you attend. You need more than that. Now I'm here today on behalf of the 80 million immigrants and their kids to give you the main reason that I think immigrants are attend. And that quite simply is, we make America better today. America is a safer country, America has stronger values, and America is a more prosperous country because people like me are here. So let's start with values. You know, immigrant values are amazing. I know in my homeland in Ethiopia, when an elderly person comes in the room, we stand up, we give them our seat. We talk about an elderly person, we don't say he or she, we say they. We talk in the plural, for they have the wisdom of many, and we give them that respect. We offer this country tremendous values. How about sacrifice? I can tell you about two kids I grew up with, just in the small neighborhood I grew up with. One kid, Joey Gomez, immigrant from Mexico. He served our country in Iraq. I always remember Joey because he was so fast in 7th grade. He could run a mile in under 5 minutes in 7th grade. Today, he was in an accident in Iraq. He's been in a wheelchair for the last 12 years. Was on life support for part of the time. People say that Joey Gomez is, just because of his last name, he's a criminal. He's someone who makes America unsafe. But he gave up the use of his legs and arms to keep us safe. My friend Jonas, you can see his picture here, served in Iraq as well. Ethiopian refugee like myself, came to this country to find opportunity. Served in Iraq, he was happy and proud to do it. Explosive device shattered his vehicle. His back got blown up in Iraq. He came back, and he called me one day. He said, "Hey Maui, I need some help. Can you help me change the bandages on my back?" I went over to his house. I will never forget what I saw. I took the bandage off. It looked like someone had taken a massive spoon and scraped out a huge part of his back. That's what it looked like. I had to keep it together just to help him through that, knowing that if that's what I saw, what is this guy feeling? He told me you could see his lungs at some point before. He barely lived. So yeah, immigrants make tremendous sacrifices to keep this country safe. And yes, immigrants make the economy of the United States much, much stronger. And it's not just because we do the most menial jobs. That's not the reason. How many of you have ever heard of Google? Well, Google was founded by an immigrant from Russia who came here. He wrote the original algorithm for the search engine. That's Sergey. And he co-founded the company with an American co-founder. How many jobs has he created? How many millionaires has he created? And it's not just the jobs and the money. He makes our lives better in so many ways. I remember back in the day when I had to go visit somebody, I had to bring a big old map with me, okay? Now I just say, Google, take me here, and I'm there. Remember back in the day when you had a document you were editing with some colleagues? How many back and forths you'd do? You'd lose sense of which version was what? Admit it, some of y'all still do that, right? Stop, you don't have to do that anymore. There's a simple solution called Google Docs. It's how I wrote this speech, okay? Google Sheets, okay? Work is much easier because of Google. It's not just Sergey. Immigrants have founded some of the most innovative companies in this country's history. Companies like eBay, Yahoo, Sun Microsystems, Intel, founded by immigrants. Now, I love to eat some Chobani yogurt for breakfast every day. This is what I had this morning, okay? I love this stuff. You know why I love Chobani yogurt? It's Greek yogurt is healthier. It's better for you. It has more protein and less fat. I eat it every morning. This country didn't know about Greek yogurt until an immigrant came here from Turkey named Hamdi. And Hamdi is the one who started Chobani. He came here with $3,000 in his pocket. Today he employs more than 2,000 people. And not just that, I've been in the area where his headquarters is in upstate New York. That was an area that was devastated by losses in the manufacturing industries. He's employing people there today. When you hear people talk about his impact, they love him over there. You know what my favorite thing about Hamdi is? Recently, Hamdi was all over the news because he announced that when his company sells, and trust me, it's going to sell for billions, when his company sells, he's going to give away 10% of the company, of the proceeds, to the employees. He's going to create a lot of millionaires. He represents two bedrock immigrant values: generosity and entrepreneurship. I am proud to say that immigrants employ more than 5 million Americans every single year. I'm proud that at Mawi Learning, I have native-born Americans working with me. Jonas, who I shared with you earlier, he now has a company that employs more than 50 people. And it's not just Jonas. It's not just the entrepreneurs. Immigrants make America better in so many industries. I have a good friend named Naveen. She came here from Egypt as a kid. Today, she is the president of one of the most innovative universities in the country. She has a plan with her team that she's implementing to make it possible for someone to go to college for less than $10,000 a year. That's what she's contributing. So to all my immigrant brothers and sisters that are out there, don't walk around here like you're a one. Don't walk around here like you don't contribute something just because someone talks bad about you. Stand up, raise your hand. Okay, you are a 10. You contribute in so many amazing ways, and my message to you is contribute more. To all my non-immigrant brothers and sisters, I ask you to reject the caricature of immigrants as leeches, as evildoers, as criminals, as those who are here to hurt America. If you would but treat us like a 10, talk about us like a 10, expect us to be a 10, I promise you, we will give you tenfold what you've given us. And that's saying a lot because you've given us so much. Let's say you agree with me. Let's say you're like, Mawi, I agree. Maybe immigrants are 8, 9, 10. How do I do that? How do I make that happen? Well, one of the easiest ways is, let's pretend you have a friend named Jack. Got a friend named Jack? And someone is talking about Jack. They're saying some bad things about Jack. You want to make that person stop. You don't have to get in a big fight about it. You don't have to go into some huge thesis. All you got to do, just say one little nice thing about Jack. All you got to do is say, hey, you know what? Jack is an amazing cook. He makes some amazing brunches. I love going over there. That will give the person the signal, hey, don't bring a 1 and 2 conversation around here. As far as I'm concerned, Jack is a 9, 10. That's all you got to do. You don't have to have a big fight with somebody. It's a lot of work we do in school districts. We train staff. When someone says, hey, why are those immigrant kids here? I wish they weren't here. We train the staff to say, you know what? A different staff member will come up and say, you know what? The founder of Yahoo was 10, just like this kid when he came here. Maybe this kid's going to go on to create thousands of jobs in this country. That's all you got to say. If you have enough 9, 10 conversations, you can change the culture of a classroom, of a school, of a community, of a country, and even, I believe, a world. We can go from a world where kids are treated like ones, like they're weak, you got nothing to offer this country, to a world where kids are treated like 10s. This is a place where you can do anything. I know some of y'all are thinking, you're thinking, Mawi, this is all good, but you forgot about one thing, 9/11. There's evil people that come to this country that want to hurt America. There's terrorists. And I would say to you, I don't want to get blown up either, okay? I didn't come to this country to get blown up. I never met an immigrant that said, you know what, I hope I get to America so a terrorist hurts me and my family. No, we want to be safe just like you. When I say be a 10, when it comes to how we view immigrants, I'm not saying we let in 10 million immigrants next year. What I'm saying is, let's put our heads together, have some common sense conversations to figure out the right policies and screening methods to keep our country safe. And while we're doing that, let's talk about immigrants like contributors and like they're a 10. Let's not act like immigrants are a 1 when immigrants are actually a lot closer to being a 10 in this country. Immigrants I know love the United States. Let me share with you what I mean by love. When I first came to this country, I was confused by that word. You know, my parents never said I love you to me. And they never said I love you to each other. You just don't do that in Ethiopian culture. Yet in America, you know, all I heard was baby, 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 love you, love you, love you, love, 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 love. It's everywhere, right? It's like oxygen in this country. And I was like, where's the love? I didn't understand. It took me till I went back to Ethiopia. Took a trip back to see my grandma. And the entire time I was with my grandma, she'd put her hands on my shoulders and she'd say things like this to me. She'd say, Deki dekicha yaricha, which in my language means, may you live to see your children's children. Or she'd say, Kem Shirkun, which in my language means, may you have the power and brilliance of 1,000 people. And I thought to myself, wow, in my culture, that's how we show love. We bless one another. And I thought back to all the times my mom and dad had blessed me. So what I would ask all of you to consider today is if you'd be willing to put on our lens and see that perhaps the immigrants that are in this country, they're here to bless this country, to better this country, to love this country. I ask you, if you don't mind, to stand up with me, and I'll give you my grandma's blessing, my favorite one, to signify the love that we can all live in together. This will be the happy TED moment, so go ahead and put your arms around each other's shoulders, all right? And repeat after me. And I give this blessing to you on behalf of the 80 million immigrants and their kids in this country who want to contribute to this country and bless this country with their talents. Repeat after me that I'll translate for you. Sahai! K! Wakaka! Bishop! K! Wakaka! Ka! Lali! Na! Tati! Allah! Yahaluka! What you just said, words from my dearest grandma, that the sun may not scorch you, nor the thorn pierce you. From the heavens to the earth, may the Lord protect you. Thank you very much.
Amen.